Before we dive into one of Scandinavia's most haunting unsolved mysteries, I need you to understand something crucial. Everything you think you know about the Lake Bodom murders is probably wrong. For over 60 years, this case has been twisted, manipulated, and sensationalized to the point where separating fact from fiction has become nearly impossible. Tonight, we're going to strip away the myths, examine the psychological profiles of everyone involved, and explore why this case represents everything that can go catastrophically wrong in a murder investigation. By the end of this deep dive, you'll understand not just what happened on that June night in 1960, but why the truth remains buried beneath decades of investigative failures, false accusations, and a justice system that destroyed an innocent man's life. This is the story behind the story, and I promise you, it's far more disturbing than any ghost story or conspiracy theory you've heard about Lake Bodom. The anatomy of a perfect storm, understanding pre-murder tensions. To truly comprehend what transpired at Lake Bodom, we need to start by examining the psychological landscape that existed before anyone set up a tent or took a single step onto that ill-fated campsite. The year was 1960, and Finland was still recovering from the devastation of World War II. This wasn't just a nation rebuilding its infrastructure. This was a culture grappling with collective trauma. And that trauma manifested in unexpected ways throughout communities, especially in rural areas surrounding places like Lake Bodom. The teenagers who would become victims that night were products of this post-war environment. Mila Björklund represented optimism, romance, and the belief that life could finally move forward. But beneath this youthful hope lurked something far more dangerous. The area around Lake Bodom had become a pressure cooker of resentment. This wasn't about noise complaints, this was about identity. And someone felt those teenagers didn't deserve the happiness they represented. The fatal flaw, why victims never see danger coming. One of the most fascinating and tragic aspects of the Lake Bodom case is how completely the teenagers misread the danger they were in. This wasn't stupidity, this was human psychology. Mila's diary entry describing a perfect evening reveals something known as normalcy bias, the belief that because nothing bad has happened before, nothing bad will happen now. The white nights of the Finnish summer blurred time itself. Day and night lost meaning, and with it, the instincts that warn us to be afraid. Quiet dread. When Mila heard rustling outside the tent, fear wasn't her first response, it was confusion. And by the time her brain recognized danger, it was already too late. The figure with glowing red eyes wasn't supernatural, it was the human brain under extreme stress trying to survive. The invisible killer, profiling the unknown perpetrator. This was not a random act of violence. This was rage, focused, sustained, and deeply personal. The killer attacked through the tent itself. He didn't need to see their faces. To him, they weren't people anymore. Mila was stabbed 15 times, even after she was already dead. That kind of violence doesn't end with death. It continues until the emotion is exhausted. And then there's Nils. His face wasn't just beaten, it was destroyed. Facial destruction almost always means projection, someone else's anger, punished on the wrong person. The items weren't stolen, they were taken. Symbols of youth, freedom, masculinity. Trophies of resentment. The botched investigation, how police failed from the day one. From the moment police arrived, the case was already compromised. The crime scene wasn't secured, it was trampled. Evidence was destroyed before it could even be documented.
The military search looked decisive, but it contaminated everything it touched. And then there was Hans Osman, a violent man, covered in mud and blood, with a convenient alibi. Police accepted it without verification. And just like that, one of the strongest leads disappeared. The Carl Valdemar Gillstrom theory. Carl Gillstrom wasn't just angry, he was escalating, each act more violent than the last. This wasn't coincidence, it was progression. Dark, his wife's warning to the teenagers may not have been hostility, but fear. Fear of what his husband was becoming. Heavy. 9 years later, Carl confessed. "Don't you understand? I'm the murderer of Bodom." The next day, he was dead. The Nils Gustafsson prosecution. In 2004, Finnish prosecutors made a devastating choice. They charged the victim. Their theory required Nils to be both brutally violent and supernaturally calculated. The evidence didn't support it. The psychology didn't support it. The jury saw the truth, but the damage was already done. Conclusion: living with unsolved mysteries. Sometimes there are no answers. Sometimes justice fails. Quiet gravity. And sometimes the truth dies with the person who committed it. Slow, respectful. 4 teenagers lost their lives that night. Firm but compassionate. One survivor lost his twice. Low, haunting. And Lake Bodom became a place forever marked by failure, not mystery. That is the real horror of unsolved cases. Not the speculation, not the ghosts. Quiet, but the people left behind who never get answers.